Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Crypto Saving Expert, and we do live streams every single day here at around 11 a.m. Let me mute this. Usually we do live streams every single morning. Today we are a little bit late because it's been incredibly busy, but we are back with another news update, talking about what's going on in the markets, taking a look at the latest cryptocurrency news, and we have some very exciting news to come within today's video. So make sure, if you haven't already, within the first 30 seconds of today's stream, please don't forget to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button to help us grow the channel as big as possible. We are on a mission to get to 2,800 subscribers by the end of the week. That's our weekly goal this week. So please try and help us towards that goal and share the streams with your friends as well. As I said, we are a little bit later than usual today, but we'll be back to the usual times tomorrow, ready for the news of the day. But let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin quickly. We have seen a nice move to the upside, so maybe it's a good day to wait for a later on stream. We can see here that Bitcoin is up 5.4%, up to $28,430. And we can see here that Ethereum is also up by 4.22%, up to $1,809. So we have seen a nice move to the upside. We will take a look at the Bitcoin chart at the end of today's stream, and we'll also take a look at the Fear and Greed Index. Let me put that in now so I don't forget about that. We'll put that in at that point in the screen so we don't forget. Let's take a look at the news today first of all, though, because we have a huge amount of information to discuss. First of all, we have Sam Bankman-Fried, the former CEO of FTX, tried to bribe a Chinese government official with $40 million. And this is according to the US Department of Justice. So let's take a look at this article and see what Sam Bankman-Fried's been up to. He's been on his $250 million bail for quite some time now, and now the rules upon on his bail has been changed slightly because he doesn't seem to have been following the rules. He's been trying to get in contact with witnesses and trying to change their statements. He has been trying to use VPNs and using applications like Telegram, when really he shouldn't be able to use these platforms. He should be using a phone and a computer that is monitored continuously by the courts, but he's just not been following the rules. Some people think he should be put in jail until his hearing, which is meant to be in October, I believe, but he's still out on bail. And he's been making some charitable donations, and he's continued to do so. Let's take a look at this article. According to a new indictment by federal prosecutors filed in the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York, SBF paid millions in bribes to one Chinese government official. It claims that in or around early 2021, Chinese law enforcement authorities froze certain Alameda cryptocurrency trading accounts on two of China's largest cryptocurrency exchanges that collectively contained approximately $1 billion in cryptocurrencies. So we can see here that SBF was reportedly aware that the accounts were frozen as part of an investigation into the trading activities of an Alameda trading counterparty, and subsequently SBF and others attempt to unfreeze the accounts using various methods to no avail. They included the use of attorneys to lobby or otherwise advocate in China for Alameda's funds to be unfrozen, communicating with the Chinese exchanges, and opening new accounts on the Chinese exchanges using the personal information of several individuals affiliated with FTX or Alameda, and attempting to transfer the cryptocurrency from the frozen accounts to the fraudulent accounts in efforts to circumvent the Chinese authorities' freeze orders. Let's take a look at this. We have Bankman-Fried caused a bribe payment of cryptocurrency then worth approximately $40 million to be transferred to Alameda's main trading account to a private cryptocurrency wallet. At or around the time of the $40 million bribe payment, the accounts were unfrozen. Once unfrozen, the funds continued to fund Alameda's losing trades, leading to the use of customer funds that led to the massive implosion in November 2022. So this against SBF includes 13 revised changes. He has conspiracy to commit wire fraud on customers of FTX, conspiracy to commit fraud on customers of FTX in connection with the purchase and sales of derivatives, and then the actual case. Then he has conspiracy to commit securities fraud on investors in FTX, then the actual scenario, conspiracy to commit wire fraud on lenders of Alameda Research, actual wire fraud on lenders of Alameda Research, And we could go on. The list goes on. SBF has not been a good actor within the space, although he had this halo above his head when he first came into cryptocurrency. For the way that he managed to get into cryptocurrency, he's absolutely shattered it. So for those that don't know, SBF first of all was in a company that was a market maker essentially, and then he noticed that he could take advantage of an arbitrage trade for Bitcoin, and he could buy Bitcoin in one jurisdiction and sell it for in another with I think about 25% gain he was making on each transaction, and he continued to do this over and over and over again, benefiting from that greatly. And then with those funds he was then in what was he doing? He then created FTX. So then he created FTX. There was this huge exchange, this amazing exchange. He was seen as this amazing man that had made the impossible possible, making huge amounts of money overnight during the arbitrage opportunity. And then he completely destroyed his reputation by using customer funds in the FTX exchange. So let's take a look at what's happening here on the chat. Somebody says, hello, I was gone for a while and now I'm not sure if this is the new theme for the show. Nobody watches. This is the new layout for the show. Let me know what you think. I've had all good things about it so far, but if you're not a fan, let me know and I'll work on it a little bit more. We do have, I think this is a little bit clearer because the words are a little bit bigger and you can see more what's going on in the show. But if you don't like it, let me know and we can try something new. All opinions are welcome. We want to be the best crypto saving, the best crypto YouTube channel out there. So we want to please our audience. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button so that you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Let's take a look at the next one. We have a warning from MetaMask. So they have sent out a warning regarding false airdrop rumors. We can see here that they have actually tweeted. We can go directly to the tweet here, linked in the Best Crypto Saving Expert article. We have here that we have MetaMask have tweeted, there are quite a few false rumors going around about a MetaMask snapshot, airdrop, etc. on March the 31st. These rumors are not only false, but they are dangerous. They create opportunities for scammers and phishers. Please be on the lookout for fake sites in the coming days. Now, airdrops are a huge possibility to make a lot of money within cryptocurrency, but they also open up the door to many different types of scams. We have a huge amount of information about this on the Crypto Saving Expert website. An interesting concept that we do see scammers take advantage of is a scammer will actually deposit funds into your wallet address, into a huge number of wallet addresses, and then they will make it look like that token is worth a huge amount of money, and then the person will look in their wallet, see their wallet is worth millions or thousands of dollars. They'll then try and go to the website of that token to sell those tokens and put that into profits. But what they don't realize they are doing is they are connecting their wallet to a fraudulent website, and their whole wallet can get emptied. So that's just one way that scammers do use airdrop to take advantage of users. So just be incredibly careful out there like usual. There's loads of scams in the space. We just need to be careful and make sure that we are doing our due diligence before we invest into anything. Always look at a team's social medias as well. That's a really good way to do it. And take a look at their Telegram groups, their Discords, only on the official channels, and check out what's going on over there. Just don't trust everything at first glance. Make sure to do a little bit of research. Let's take a look at the next article here and see what's going on next. We have Bitcoin's NUPL. So this is the unrealized profits versus unrealized loss. So net unrealized profits and losses. Chart moves out of hope/fear for the first time since May 2022. So let's take a look at this chart. Essentially, this measures whether people are in unrealized losses or in unrealized profits. So it'll look at a wallet that has Bitcoin in. It will look at the value that Bitcoin was last transacted, and it will look at whether it's been in a profit since then or in a loss since then. And it'll put all of this data together for all of the Bitcoins. And we can see here that we've been in the hope and fear section for a long period of time, but we have officially moved into the optimism/anxiety segment. So we are moving up. Bitcoin's looking a little bit better. We can take a look at this bigger time frame here as well, where we can see this is the longer time frame. So I'm not sure how clear this is on the live stream. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see this a little bit clearer. Where has it gone? Here it is. So this is 2012. You can see this blue line is is the NUPL, and this black line is the price of Bitcoin going all the way up to the moon. And we can see here that during the peaks of the bull market, the NUPL is up in that red zone, and during the bottom of the bear market, the NUPL is dumped down to the bottom. So we can see here that the NUPL seems to have bottomed out. It's come back up into this hope and fear zone, and it's actually now reached that optimism / anxiety zone. Now, how many times has this gone into the green zone and then back into the yellow zone without us seeing a bull market again? Not very many. I mean, we can see here very interesting opinions here. Do you include the data from the COVID-19 pandemic? Because that caused the price of Bitcoin to fall dramatically. Now, that could be seen as an anomaly, but interesting data there. It does kind of skew all of the data a little bit for the price of Bitcoin and for charts like this. That's the only scenario where we have seen us move. Actually, we could say back here in 2012, we did touch into that yellow zone before coming back down into the green, but the price of Bitcoin was continuing upwards. It's a signal, let's say, that we could have bottomed out for the bear market, and that is the main point of this data. We'll be keeping an eye on this throughout the next couple of weeks, so if you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button so that you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these every single day, and if you want to stay up to date with the markets, then make sure to stay tuned with these great updates. We also do have that Martini guy join us on the channel here sometimes as well, so if you are a fan of listening to what he has to say and hearing our discussions, make sure to subscribe. Let's take a look at how many likes we have currently on today's stream. We are currently sat at, numbers on the doors, 2,783 subscribers, and the amount of likes on today's stream is currently at 12. Come on, we can do better than that, I think. Let's have a target. I mean, the last stream we did got up to 66. I'm sure we can get up to 50 in today's stream. Let's have that as our target for today. Let's take a look at the next news article here, though, and move on to what's going on with the Binance saga. So, on Monday the 27th of March, as I'm sure a lot of you will have already heard, the CFTC filed a lawsuit against Binance and its CEO, CZ. So, Binance and its CEO have now responded to the allegations. We did cover this in a live stream last week, but we can take a look at this again. So, this is a deep dive into what's actually been happening. We can see here that CZ and Binance have had charges against them by the CFTC, including the allegation that the CEO has 300 accounts on the platform. CZ denied this allegation by reporting that he has only 2 Binance accounts, which leaves a vast difference between the CFTC suggestion and the CEO's suggestion. So interesting points here. Now let's talk about the allegations that have been made about CZ and Binance in the last couple of days. We've seen here that there's, according to the CFTC, 300 accounts here that are exempt from certain rules and restrictions, and they've been accused of insider trading. They've been accused of taking advantage of the information they can see as a centralized exchange. So as a centralized exchange, you can see where people's liquidation points are, you can see where people's take profit points are or stop losses are, and people can take, and centralized exchanges can illegally take advantage of that. I mean, they shouldn't, but they could do possibly. And this is something that is speculated across many different centralized exchanges and has for years now. And this has now been implied by the CFTC that Binance could possibly be doing something similar. So taking a look at this, Matt Levine wrote an informal piece in Bloomberg to provide an objective view and shed some light where it appears rather dark. So he stated the article compellingly by stating a decent rule of thumb is that all cryptocurrency exchanges are doing crimes, and if you're lucky, your exchange is doing only process crimes. So straight away, the article opens with a view that no exchange is innocent in actuality. The question is how innocent they are. He quickly pointed out that Binance is not accused of putting its customers' funds at risk. Customers who trust the exchange have not been given a reason not to. So that is a positive thing. This is not something we could say about FTX. FTX was using customer funds and trading in them into the markets, hoping to make huge, huge gains. Now, I would like to point out that there's a huge amount of speculation around centralized exchanges. Centralized exchanges do not need to take these risks. Centralized exchanges, I think, like Binance, take about a 0.1% fee on every single transaction you make. If you see how much volume is going through these exchanges every single day, you can see that just from those transaction fees, they make a huge amount of money. So it's just greed that comes in at that next level if they are going to perform illegal activities on top of that to try and make that money even bigger, essentially. So we can see here the CFTC charges do not concern how Binance stores and separates customer funds according to the CFTC charges. This is an important metric within this whole saga, as the one thing customers want right now is stability and safety, something Binance is not accused of risking. So he then explained the law surrounding derivatives trading in the US and how it is governed. For exchanges with a separate company branch for US customers, they should not facilitate derivatives as that is illegal in the eyes of the law. In reality, if every exchange could house derivatives and offer them to US customers, they would. The country accounts for a huge portion of the cryptocurrency market share. This market is far too large to ignore. So we have to ask, is the CFTC thought they would lose the case? Would they go after the largest cryptocurrency exchange? As we've seen, other companies settle with the SEC and other regulatory organizations to avoid going to court. Is this about the potential fine or about holding Binance to account? So US citizens cannot legally trade derivatives, but this article from Bloomberg has pointed out that it gets slightly hairy for Binance is in the fact that Binance has a website that helps people understand how to trade on Binance, and the website had an explanation of how to use a virtual private network to log into Binance without disclosing that you are in the US, and the CFTC does not like that. Huge point to make. That is a bit of a problem for Binance to have pointed out here. People can use VPNs or virtual private networks to hide their location. It covers your IP address. Things are encoded on your computer before sent out to the network. So essentially, your IP address can change to wherever you want it to appear in the world. Now, if you do so, it means you can gain access to websites that are not available in your jurisdiction. Obviously, this is never advised to do so. I'm not recommending you do this. I recommend you use a VPN for your internet safety if you're joining onto free Wi-Fi and things like that. That is more susceptible to hackers getting control of your devices or getting onto your devices. But using a VPN to get onto foreign websites is not something I can recommend here on the channel, but it means that you can get access to like foreign Netflix, or like Binance users in the US can get access to the original Binance. They can trade derivatives and things like that. That's what VPN can do. So Binance advertising this and showing its users how it can use a VPN to bypass the laws within the US is a problem that is quite evidently clear, but we can see that's there. Let's take a look at the next part of this article anyway. So this is a questionable action, as we have just said, but let's take a look at this a bit further down. Let's skim through this now and see what's happening. US VIP customers often followed these instructions by submitting new KYC documentation associated with a shell company incorporation in the jurisdiction. Let's move on past this. The point is, the CFTC has created all these allegations towards CZ and Binance. CZ has stepped up for himself. He's written a blog. He said, "We block US customers, users by a KYC, IP, mobile carrier, and device fingerprints and bank deposits and withdrawals," in which he went on to list several other methods. What Binance is saying is, we have put these steps in place. If people manage to bypass them, they can't control every single person that sets up an account on the Binance website. They can put all of these measures in place to try and stop people, but that's as much as they can do, essentially. So he's also stated Binance.com does not trade for profit or, oh, my phone's ringing, or manipulate the market under any circumstances. So this is addressing the allegations that we spoke about earlier in today's stream. People accuse many different centralized exchanges over the last couple of years of taking advantage of the knowledge of where certain amount of liquidation points are or stop losses are. Let's say a huge amount of people have a liquidation point on their long positions at $25,000. As a Binance, as a company, they could illegally, essentially, I'm not saying they are, this is what they are saying they are not doing, but this is what they're getting accused of, cause the price of Bitcoin to dump down to $25,000, see that a load of accounts are going to get liquidated, put a short order in, and take advantage of that move to the downside. This is obviously illegal. This is manipulating the market. They're saying they don't do this. Hopefully they don't, but many different centralized exchanges, as I said, are accused of this over and over again, especially on crypto Twitter. Let's take a look at this. CZ's also stated, personally, I have 2 accounts at Binance, one for Binance Card, one for my crypto holdings. I eat our own dog food and store my crypto on Binance.com. I also need to convert crypto from time to time to pay for personal expenses or for the card. Now, we did cover this mostly over on the live stream last week. So if just recovering this quickly, if you missed it, CZ tweeted the number 4. And if you take a look at his pinned tweet over on Twitter, let's pull this up. We can see here, let's spread this out. No, I've gone onto the wrong button here. On CZ's Twitter, his pinned tweet says, number 4, ignore FUD, fake news, and attacks. So when he tweeted the number 4, that's what he was implying about. Now, you can't say that where's the link gone? Okay, here we go. We can't say that this is not true, that this is FUD. This is a fact that these allegations have been put in place by the CFTC, but we'll have to see how this plays out. We are having more and more information coming in every single day about this story, and I'm sure we will hear more. The big important piece of news within this article is that it's not currently a fear that Binance have been using user funds in the wrong way. It's currently not a concern, and that is a positive thing and should stop so much fear entering the markets. If you want to stay up to date with this story, please don't forget to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button so that you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news presented by yours truly every single weekday. So make sure to join in with these live streams for us. Let's take a look at the next piece of this Binance story. We have here that Binance backs favorite True USD with multiple trading pair listings. So we've seen a little bit of a problem with BUSD in the last couple of months, and by a little bit of a problem, I mean quite a major problem. Paxos, the issuer of BUSD, have been ordered to stop minting the token, so stop adding more tokens into circulation, because the US governments do not like it. Essentially, let's take a look at this. So Binance have now started to add trading pairs for TUSD. So when you go onto Binance and you want to trade Bitcoin, you can trade BTC USDT, or you can trade BTC BUSD, or you could trade BTC TUSD. So they're adding TUSD trading pairs to many different coins on their platform at the moment following this news about BUSD. So let's check in with the chat now and see what is happening here. No other show is worth watching. Thank you, Bike Man. Let's take a look at the next article here to see what's going on next. Let's take a look. Wild Pony said, all is good as long as it does not remind people on the other show. I think we're our own show. We've got something good going on. I enjoy doing these live streams, and I hope you all enjoy watching. You seem to. Let's take a look at this one here. We have Hong Kong regulators to meet with crypto firms and bankers to discuss financing options. So Hong Kong has gone into a route down trying to become the next cryptocurrency hotspot. Something that the UK tried to do but didn't really follow up from. The UK, actually, side note, have said they are cancelling their plans to make an NFT, the UK government, but Hong Kong are actually continuing and following through on their word on their mission to become a hotspot for digital assets. We did see yesterday that Chinese banks were keen to work with cryptocurrency companies. Let's take a look at this article first of all. We have Hong Kong regulators to meet with crypto firms and bankers to discuss financing options. So Hong Kong's progress to become a crypto hub just kicked into high gear, with the region's regulators set to host a meeting between crypto firms and bankers. According to a Bloomberg report, the meeting, scheduled for April 28th, will take place at the Hong Kong Monetary Authority to facilitate direct dialogue and share practical experiences and perspectives in opening and maintaining bank accounts. So Hong Kong are really moving forward with this idea, and it is very exciting. expecting. As I said in yesterday's stream, Chinese state-owned banks are reportedly interested in the crypto industry as well. And if this continues to move forwards, it could open the door for much more adoption for cryptocurrencies. It opens the door for a load more people to get involved. Let's take a look at what's going on next in today's stream to see what's going on in the markets. We have OKX to set up an entity in Hong Kong and apply for virtual asset licenses. OKX plans to set up shop in Hong Kong by launching a new entity and applying for virtual asset licenses in the region. Now, as I was saying, Hong Kong are on a mission to become the next cryptocurrency hotspot, and that is exactly what they are doing. And cryptocurrency exchanges want to capitalize on that opportunity. If they're the first major exchange within this jurisdiction, they could perform incredibly well. So that is what we are seeing there from OKX, and I imagine we see many others to follow as well. Let's take a look at the next article here to see what's happening. The Bank of England governor expects UK inflation to fall to its target. So the target is down at 2%, with the latest data coming in at 10.4%. We have a long way to go in England. Hopefully we are on a mission to pull that down. Now we can see here that the interest rates again in March were raised to 4.25% to combat inflation. Let's discuss this quickly because we haven't discussed this in a while. The US and the UK and many other countries around the world are seeing super high rates of inflation. Hold on, let's just check that everything's running smoothly here. I would like to know how many of you got onto today's stream because it seems that people are struggling to get on. Let's check that everything is running smoothly. Seems to be all working fine on my end. Let me know if there are any issues though. Thank you very much for that. So let's take a look at this. So essentially the US, the UK even, and the US both have experienced high inflation rates. The US peaked at 9.1% of inflation. We can see here that the UK is at 10.4%. And for the UK and the US governments to get to the rate of inflation down, they need to stop people spending so much money. Had they stopped people spending so much money, they increase the interest rates, because that in turn means that people are taking out less loans. People can take the interest rates on loans, mortgages are higher. People are doing that less, so people have less money to spend, and therefore people, the amount of demand comes down and inflation falls, essentially. So the UK is still on a mission to hit 2%. The concern is that if they raise interest rates too quickly, then we could see problems with the banks like we have seen with SVB and a couple of other banks in the US already. Let's take a look at the next article now, though. I am sure that we'll manage to get inflation down, but getting it to that point is just a tricky, there's a difficult road ahead, shall we say. So let's take a look at this. Federal judge halts Voyager's asset sale to Binance.us. A federal judge has temporarily paused the $1 billion asset sale plan between bankrupt crypto broker Voyager Digital and Binance.us until the Justice Department appeal motion is handled. So we have spoke about this a couple of times. This has been paused and played and paused and played about 3 times now, I think. But we have now seen that it has been paused again, unfortunately. Hopefully this works out. It is in Voyager's users' best interests if this does work out, because they receive more of their funds back if Binance.us do manage to acquire the company. So hopefully that does take place and those users can get a bit more of their funds back. I don't think they're going to be made completely whole, but the closer to that, the better. Voyager, for those that don't know, is one of the... let's take a look at this. Sean says the stream was sorry, let me finish my sentence first. I got so distracted then. Voyager is one of the companies that fell during 2022, like many others, following the UST depeg back in May 2022. Let's take a look at this. Sean says the stream was accessible via Twitter, but not YouTube. It didn't show up on YouTube until you were 2 minutes in. Okay, I will work on that, see what the problem is there. Maybe we need to put a little bit of a longer intro in place or something. We have an intro in at the moment. It's not got any music on it though, so I think we need to add some music to that just to get the mood flowing. So we'll work on that over the weekend and have something new jazzed up on Monday. Let's take a look at the next article here. We have a huge amount of news today. We have Japanese telecommunications giant KDDI becomes blockchain validator and reveals metaverse plans. So a game-focused blockchain has announced that one of Japan's largest telecommunications companies has joined their ranks of node validators for the network, which they will use to integrate Web3 gaming into their metaverse. So this is the second piece of news in the last 2 days where Japan have been looking at different, and Japanese companies have been looking at different Web3 gaming platforms. So very interesting there. We'll see how this develops in the next couple of weeks. Let's take a look at the next article here. We have Orderly Network raises funds at a $200 million flat valuation. So the decentralized exchange Orderly Network announced today their latest investor, CoinDCX Ventures. So a huge valuations there. Positive to see positive things within the markets, even though the markets are feeling a huge amount more positive than they were just 3 months ago. December was absolutely dreadful. We are seeing more positive things, and we're seeing people build within the space now. People have been building throughout this whole bear market. It's just gone unnoticed, and now the markets have started to turn a little bit. We're seeing some things play out that are like full getting ready for bull mode mentality. So that is what I like to see in the markets. Let's take a look here at the next one. Negative news now after we've just seen some positivity. Disney to let go of all staff in its metaverse division. So this comes after we read in yesterday, or maybe Monday's news, that Meta, the parent company of Facebook, were dialing down their efforts to create the next metaverse and looking more at AI and looking for a year of efficiency, according to Mark Zuckerberg. At the same time, we've seen Disney let go of all staff in its metaverse division. But at the same time as all of this negative things going on about metaverse, we are seeing the NFTs within the metaverse are at an all-time high in terms of trading volume. So there is still that interest there for investors. My question is, though, is the problem lying at the amount of adoption? Are we struggling to find adoption for actually using these Web3 online tools? And is it more just investors looking to invest in the next big thing that is causing this high amount of volume? So that is my question there, unanswered question. Let me know what you think in the chat. Let's move on to the next article here. We have hacker drains almost $9 million from SafeMoon liquidity pool. So this is a liquidity pool for BNB chain-based decentralized protocol SafeMoon. Let's take a look at this a little bit further. It is suspected that a new SafeMoon contract upgrade may have introduced a public burn bug, which enabled the hacker to remove a large amount of SFM tokens from the liquidity pool. By doing so, the hacker artificially inflated the price of SFM and sold back the tokens into the same liquidity pool to drain $8.9 million in wrapped BNB. Now that's really interesting. That's a really smart way. I mean, every time we see a hack like this, it's absolutely awful. People are losing huge amounts of money, but seeing the simplicity of some of these hacks is absolutely insane. Like that little bug in the code, they've seen it, they've realized they could just do a 2-step process, and there they go, they've got loads of funds. And that's exactly what's happened here. And this is just what happens. We're trying to learn the best practices of these different coding languages. We haven't got there yet. Cryptocurrency is a fairly new industry. The languages we are using to code all of these smart contracts is still fairly new, and we're still trying to work out their best practice. So sometimes things like this do take place. Hopefully they got offered a bounty and they accept that, so those funds can be returned to the project so they can continue to build and move forward and try and develop within the cryptocurrency industry so that this isn't the end for SafeMoon. Let's take a look at the next article, but before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button so that you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single day, so make sure to hit that bell notification button so that you don't miss what's going on within the cryptocurrency markets. And also don't forget to share the stream with your friends. We are trying to get to 2,800 subscribers by the end of the week. We're currently on 20 likes on today's stream, so we would appreciate it if you could push the stream out to more and more people. Let's see how many subscribers we have on today's stream. Let's wait, counting down. 2,784, so only 16 more subscribers to go until we hit that goal. We've got 2 days left of the week for these live streams, so make sure to help us on our mission to get there and share the stream with your friends as well. Let's take a look at this article. The FDIC orders Signature Bank's crypto clients to close their accounts by April 5th. So Signature's buyer Flagstar Bank ditched all crypto deposits in the receivership of the FDIC, and the agency has now asked that such accounts be closed. So this is disappointing. Signature Bank was a cryptocurrency friendly bank, and that is no more. This is something that's fallen out over the last couple of days. We've spoken about this here a lot on the channel, so we will skim past this, but if you want the latest cryptocurrency news, go to cryptosavingexpert.com and you can read further into this article. It's a shame that this has happened, but I think other companies, banks and decentralized finance companies can step into their place, take advantage of this opportunity, seeing all these cryptocurrency companies looking for a new place to bank, and when that happens, it creates a huge amount of opportunities for DeFi and for other banks as well. So although it's a shame, it'll cause a redistribution. So let's take a look at the next article here and see what happens. Farmer converts cow manure into Bitcoin and reduces greenhouse gas emissions. So John Campbell, an Irish dairy farmer, uses anaerobic digestion to convert the manure his daily herd produces into energy, which he uses to mine Bitcoin. This reduces the amount of methane, a potent greenhouse gas, produced by the farm. Now, this may just seem like an absolutely bizarre story, but it's actually pretty interesting because Bitcoin has had a huge amount of hate over the recent years about how bad it is for the environment. So any way that we can flip this problem into a positive is actually really, really amusing. I really like this story. Check it out if you haven't already. Interesting concept there, and maybe a way to get Bitcoin back into the green. We need to look at ways. Proof of work is the consensus mechanism that Bitcoin uses, and it does require a huge amount of electricity. However, it is a very, very safe method to secure the blockchain. So if we can use renewable energy sources, or we can use cow manure, in my eyes, it's all a win-win. Let's take a look at the next story here to see what's going on next. We have Biden administration seeks to introduce new banking rules. So it's been reported that the White House plans to implement extra measures on banks following the collapse of SVB and its domino effect. According to a report, President Biden seeks to ensure the lessons learned from the recent banking crisis are not forgotten. The US banking industry has been in turmoil for the last few weeks after the collapse of SVB, which sent shockwaves through Wall Street. Following the crisis, other banks have shut their doors, and several others appear on the brink of collapse, with the contagion risk spreading into Europe. So that is what we are seeing here, and now he wants to look at new banking rules. Now this is definitely something that is needed. We did see after the 2008 financial crash, new regulations be put in place for banks to try and stop this contagion effect and make them all independent of each other if something were to go wrong. But this has never actually been tested in real life, in action, and this is the first time it's happened with SVB, and we are still seeing that contagion take place across the world. So more rules putting in place to help stop this from happening again is definitely something that is needed. The final story we have today in today's video is looking very dodgy on this zoom in level. Let's zoom out a little bit so we can see this clearer. The SEC chair Gary Gensler must testify before Congress, says Tom Emmer. So let's take a look at this article. He must testify before Congress and answer questions about the cost of his regulatory failures. So very interesting here. We all know that Tom Emmer is a big cryptocurrency fan. When this takes place, we will be reporting on it live here on the channel. So if you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button so you don't miss that brilliant update. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart now and see what is going on. We can see here that Bitcoin has taken a nice move to the upside in the early hours of this morning. We're currently at $28,300. We can see that we did have a level of support here from these wicks down here at $26,600. I was also looking at this level from back over here that's also acted like a level of resistance at $26,900. We then had a level of resistance up at this point here at $28,350, which could possibly start to act as a support at these points here. It's more of like a zone, I would say, between that point there and the $28,309. If we see a candle close below that point, then that support would probably be broken once again. And we have a major level of resistance from the bodies of these candles over here at $28,654. And if we move over to the daily time frame, You can see as well, no you can't because it's taking forever to load, that this was actually a level of support throughout the previous bull market between those highs in May and November and back here in May 2022. This was a level of support, so it is a very strong level of resistance that we need to try and battle through for Bitcoin right now. Let's take a look at the RSI chart to see what's going on here. On the 2-hour chart, we can see on the 4-hour chart as well that the MACD is looking like we have building bullish momentum. We have a slightly overbought RSI, but mostly neutral, and that is bound to happen after we see a big move to the upside because we're on those bigger time frames. If we take a look at the smaller time frames on the half-hour chart, it looks like these are coming back down to neutral zone there as well. So that is what we're looking at. Let's take a quick look at the Fear and Greed Index before we finish today's stream. Taking a look here, we can see absolutely nothing. It's coming, it's going. Here we are, 57 for greed in today's market. We have been at a high of 68, so this is a nice move back to the downside. I like to see this in the neutral zone. When it's up in greed, I am so fearful that the price is going to plummet, but it's not looking too bad right now. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Notification just in, Bitcoin hash rate continues to rise and hits an all-time high. Just a fun fact for you for today's stream. That is all we have for today. So thank you very much for tuning in as always, and I hope to see you back here tomorrow.